What's up guys, Chadley here, and back again with yet another Borderlands 2 video. I've had a lot of requests in my recent videos to do a build of Maya, so I'm going to show you guys my favorite build with Maya, and hopefully you guys find it helpful. Now this will most likely be my most controversial build. I know there's some people who really like certain skills with Maya, and I actually left a couple of them out in this one, so don't hate on me too much, but at least give it a try. Because I actually used to use some of those most popular skills as well, but I recently switched over to the build that you guys are about to see, and I've actually been really enjoying it, so just give it a shot. Before we jump into the build, consider subscribing if you want to see more builds or more Borderlands 2 content. Also, make sure to go follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/chadley99. I'm going to be streaming a bunch on there, and it's been a lot of fun lately with you guys. But without further delay, let's jump right here into the build. So, to start off this build, we're going to take a peek at the skill trees first, and we're going to start in the Catalysm skill tree after we obviously get phase lock. So, once you're here, you're going to want to put 5 points into Foresight. This really helps your magazine reload speed. This is going to be awesome with the Sandhawk, and basically any gun you're using is going to get a huge benefit from it, especially when you're running the legendary Siren class mod most of the time. So we're going to put 5 points into there. Then, once we have 5 points into there, Helios, really not that good, so Immolate's definitely going to be your better option here in the second tier. So we're going to put 5 points into that. This is going to be very useful for getting those second wins. Now in the third tier, Chain Reaction is going to give you insane crowd control, and you're just going to be destroying whole groups of enemies in just one burst of your gun, so amazing skill to have. We're going to pick up 5 points into Chain Reaction. Then Cloud Kill, way back in the day, used to not be very good, but now it is pretty dang good. It still holds its own a little bit in Ultimate Vault Hunter OP levels, but in your earlier playthroughs, Cloud Kill is actually incredibly overpowered, so we're going to pick up that. Then we're going to put 5 points into Reaper, because why not have more gun damage when somebody has over 50% health? So we're going to put 5 points into there. Now, at this point, what you're going to do to get to Ruin is kind of up to you. Flicker isn't really that great, but it's going to get a bonus out of the class mod. So we're going to put just 4 points into there, because why not? And that will get us to Ruin. If you want to put those points into maybe like Blight Phoenix or something, or if you really like Helios, you can do that. I don't recommend Backdraft. But those 4 points you can spread however you'd like in this tree, but I just like to put into Flicker. Even though it's not that great of a skill, it's still going to be getting a bonus out of our class mod, and will get us to Ruin. Now, in our Harmony skill tree, we are going to be putting 5 points into Mind's Eye. This is going to help with critical hit damage and melee damage, but mainly the critical hit damage is what we want. So, with the class mod on, you're going to be getting 50% extra critical hit damage, so awesome skill. Then, Wreck, probably the best skill in this skill tree right here. When you have an enemy phase locked, you're just going to be ripping through them. So something I do with Wreck is I'll phase lock somebody, and then if people didn't get pulled in and they're far off, I'll just shoot like a burst at them, because you're still going to be getting that fire rate and gun damage. It doesn't have to directly apply to the person in the phase lock, it's just while somebody's phase locked. So that's something I do with that. But we're going to put 5 points into Wreck right here. Then I play with people occasionally, and it's just 1 point, so I'm going to put a point into Res. If you strictly play solo, you're welcome to not put that in there and put it wherever else you like. Then I like to just have a little bit of health coming back, so we're going to put 2 points into Sweet Release. Now, in our motion skill tree, we're going to put 5 points into Ward, because this is really going to help with the B shield, which is probably Maya's best shield. So we're going to put 5 points into there. It's going to help you get that amp damage back if you ended up getting hit. And it's going to give it a little bit of extra capacity so you die a little bit less. And we're also going to put 5 points into Accelerate for the damage and bullet speed, because the Sandhawk shoots very slow. So we're going to get it a little bit quicker, and you're going to be hitting your targets more often. Then for the second tier, we're going to put 5 points into Suspension. The longer you have somebody in a phase lock, the more damage you're going to be doing, especially with Wreck. So we're going to put 5 points into there. Super easy for that. And we're also going to put 5 points into kinetic reflection. This is going to be really nice for taking less damage, as it's going to reduce the damage taken by 50%. And you're also going to be hurting everybody who's shooting you, so great skill to have. Now for the third tier, inertia, great skill. We're going to put 5 points into there. This is going to let you reload quicker and get some of your shield back on kills, allowing the B to be fully charged more often, so you're going to be doing way more damage. Also, we're going to put 5 points into fleet because movement speed is amazing, and especially if you want to run a class mod that gives you +6 fleet with the Rough Rider, you're going to be flying around getting to where you need to go incredibly fast. Then Converge. This is going to put all the enemies around the person you phase lock, greatly increasing the effectiveness of chain reaction. So we're going to put a point into there. And we're going to put 5 points into Quicken so you can do your phase lock more often. Now, as you can see, we have 0 points left, and I don't have anything in Subsequence. You guys might strongly disagree with this. This is probably going to be the most controversial one, I think. But in my opinion, I don't think Subsequence is that great. I used to use it all the time, but when I was trying to get through the peak to OP10, I found out Subsequence was screwing me over more than it was helping me. So I decided to take it off, and it actually made life way easier. As Subsequence moves incredibly slow, and your duration of phase lock goes down even when it's trying to find a new target. So most of the time, you're just wasting the time you have of phase lock while it's just finding someone. So I like to just get it right back into its cooldown, especially because this build is heavily focused on cooldown with the legendary Siren class mod and Quicken. So that is why I didn't really pick Subsequence. If you guys really like Subsequence and you don't think you're really going to be using fleet too much, you're welcome to put the 5 points for fleet into there. But personally, I think this is the much better route to go for Maya and not put anything in Subsequence. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our gear for Maya. Obviously, the key weapon here with Maya is going to be the Sandhawk. I'm using a fire one right now, but I also have all the Sandhawks for you, except for slag, but you don't really need slag. Any elemental will do. Then I've also really liked the Beacon Opener lately. It's been working pretty well, and it gets you some good shock damage. Then I also like to run the Pimpernel just for those big blocky armored targets, and the Grog Nozzle for healing and slagging. A lot of times I'll often switch out the Beacon Opener for a Fire Norfleet, because this is going to be very, very useful with Immolate for getting second wins if you ever go down, so I often switch between those two. Then we're going to have the B Shield as our shield, definitely one of the better ones. There's all the resistances in here for you. And also, we're going to do a Slag Crossfire for slagging. I often switch between that one and Chain Lightning for healing, or also the Quasar for grouping enemies and letting them all be affected by chain reaction when I phase lock somebody. So that's also a very good grenade to be using. Then, Legendary Siren class mod, like we talked earlier. This is going to give you much better cooldown rate, so you're going to be getting your phase lock all the time with this, and your gun damage is also going to be boosted for any gun. And Bone of the Ancients, whatever Sandhawk I'm using, I'll usually match my Bone of the Ancients to it. Now if I'm fighting bosses with the class mods, you're going to want to switch to Legendary Cat class mod. This is insane SMG damage, and the Sandhawk is just going to melt through anything. So Hater Axe, anything like that, I'll switch over to Legendary Cat class. But for general mobbing or the peak, I'm going to be running the Legendary Siren class mod. Now let's take a look at our gear. Toothpick is just for the movement speed in the Hater Axe arena if you want to do the recompense glitch. I made a video on that earlier. You're welcome to go check that out. All the interfacers, we have a double penetrating unkempt herald because it's just a beast. Everybody has to have it basically. Norfleet, we already went over that. Logan's gun, if you need some rockets for your Norfleet, just put that on with the sham. The shock and fire Pimpernel, if you want to use those, but I usually just run the corrosive one. And corrosive and shock Sandhawks for you. Now for the relics, the hard carry, if you need some extra help in the peak, if you go down a lot, you're going to be able to stay and fight for your life for like a minute. I forget what the exact time is. It's a stupid amount of time, but yeah, the relic's in there if you need that. Then the other two, Bone of the Ancients, Shock and Corrosive. Breakneck Banshee class mod, this is the +6 fleet skill, so you put that on with your Rough Rider, you are going to just run super fast, and it's fantastic for getting around to bosses or wherever you need to go. So I often use this for traveling. Then we're going to have our Warder class mod. This is the +6 recompense if you want to do the Hater Axe glitch, where you just insta-kill him. Then +6 suspension and restoration, and +6 immolate if you want to do that, which you can do some crazy stuff with that in an ore fleet. The electric chair, just because it's a really, really good shock grenade. We already went over the Quasar and the Chain Lightning, and then we also have a magic missile for extra slagging. Then the retainer, this is what's going to get paired with the toothpick to move fast in Hater Axe's arena, so if you want to do that, that's there for you. Easy mode for the peak. Obviously you got a sham if you need to rock that. And then, like I said earlier, all 3 resistances of the Beast Shield. That's going to wrap it up though for today's Maya build. Don't hate me too much for leaving out Subsequence. I honestly think you are better off without it. I used to always use Subsequence, but lately once I've switched, I've had much more success with Maya, so at least just give it a shot. If you like the build and want to see more, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video to let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more Borderlands content. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll have links to everything in the description. But that's all the time I have today, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.